Hello and welcome to this video for the juvenile justice class. And we are going to talk about chapter 3 of the Gibo and Boys Watson Youth Crime and Justice. This book is published by Rowman Littlefield. If you'll notice on page 48, there's this wonderful chart of the four paradigms that they identify. They put these paradigms into historical time frames, but please understand this does not compete with the history of juvenile justice that we talked about in the last unit. Rather, it supplements it. So very important to understand this. Starting in the 1950s especially, we started having teen angst movies. So the very first one that I talked about last unit was Rebel Without a Cause. There were some others as well. Going into the very early 60s. A Summer Place was one of them. But when we get to the 1970s, we have other teen angst movies that really fit in with the juvenile justice themes that we're talking about. One of those is called The Death of Richie. It aired on television. It was a made-for-TV movie in 1977. Believe it or not, I was 13 years old. I know exactly where I was and where I was sitting when I watched that movie with my parents and my brother, who was 15 at the time. Richie was roughly our age when he was killed by his father, but he was killed by his father because he was trying to stab his father. His father was cleared of all wrongdoing. But as you watch the film, The Death of Richie, notice the attempts to rehabilitate Richie. Notice that he has these moments where he tries to do the right thing. Notice that he gets influenced by negative peers, and that the few positive peers in his life don't tend to have the same impact on him. Notice how hurt he is when the girl he asks out says she won't go out with him because she already committed to a date with someone else. So notice how this movie portrays Richie. And most of this stuff is truly biographical about the real Richie. By the way, Ben Gazzara, Eileen Brennan, and Robbie Benson, the three big stars in the movie, they were big names in their day. Robbie Benson was the heartthrob, or well, one of the heartthrobs of the 70s and very early 80s. He was in a movie that was a hit called Ice Castle. That was a date movie for my generation. But the movie The Death of Richie, when you watch it, you'll be able to tell it's a 1970s movie. But just pay attention to how the movie portrays attempts to get Richie help. That's very important. We will see you next video.